What up, nation? Welcome to another edition of the WiseTake MLB DFS Wise stream. CK013 here. You can find me on Twitter at CK_013. And I, of course, am from the WiseTake Nation, which you can find on all the social media platforms listed above it directly at WiseTake.com. If you're looking to take your DFS game to the next level, we are a premium DFS content provider, as well as a DFS community designed to help make you a better DFS player. Go check us out. Day Pass is available if you want to try us out. WiseTake.com. If you're new to this channel, welcome. You've come to the right place with some free fire DFS content. So make sure you subscribe, hit the notifications bell so you don't miss out on any of the free content we put out. Currently covering MLB slates Monday through Friday, meaning we stream Sunday night through Thursday night with our first look. So please hit the like button. Make sure to leave some comments. Love the comments, love reading the comments, love hearing the feedback, whether it's about the slate itself or about the show itself. We welcome it all. We welcome it all. Okay, that being said, it does look like we have ourselves a 15, is that right? 15 game slate? Is it really a 15 game slate? That's just craziness. It's craziness, but it is what it is. We're going to do what we always do. We start off with the top pitchers, lead on to top offenses, things to watch for, and then the Dong Watch, as per usual. Shout out to those of you watching us live. I did not do the settings correctly when I set this up. So those of you watching after the fact, you won't even notice because I'm going to just apply the same damn things. But those of you watching live, I don't have the chat pulled up because I don't have the right link pulled up because I forgot to update my settings on another program. So that's a big blunder on my end. But anyway, let's get things rolling. Starting off with our top pitchers. Interesting one. I don't have a ton of guys in this list, but we got a few. Starting with Trevor Rogers, who's the most expensive pitcher, I believe, on DraftKings. Now, one of the more interesting things about this, we have a very low total here. Both teams are currently implied for under 4 runs apiece. As good as Rogers has been, and he's been very good, you could see 3.36 xFIP, 3.5 Sierra, 29.8% K rate. St. Louis, while they did not deliver as well as I would have liked on Monday's slate, St. Louis is tied for the third highest WRC plus against lefties with Baltimore, mind you. But they've got the superior ISO with a 195 ISO against lefties. I know Goldschmidt has like a, he's been, I think he's 95. I think he's averaging like a 95 exit velocity in the month of June. It just hasn't like come to fruition just yet. But so I think that's one of the more interesting spots. I'm sure people will still play Rogers in cash, but I think I feel more comfortable with Urias. Now, maybe I'm sacrificing ceiling. We know how the Dodgers can be with their pitchers, especially him. But his numbers are very good. 3.38 xFIP, 3.26 Sierra, 27.6% K rate. And while Philly does have a 102 WRC plus against lefties, they only have a 157 ISO, and they have a 27.8% K rate. So I think I feel more comfortable with Urias as the SP1. It would be Darvish. Problem with Darvish is Darvish isn't core, so you'll make that determination when you're ready. He's obviously a very good pitcher. He's got phenomenal numbers, some of the best on the slate. But he's got a 49% fly ball rate, and he's playing in cores. The question is, can the Rockies, who are dead last in WRC plus against righties, at 67, like just to give you some, like Baltimore's an 82, they're the second worst. Colorado's got a 67, and they play their home games in cores. So that should tell you something. But, yeah, Darvish is an option. Urias, though, looking like the cash game SP1 for me. I like him in tournaments, too. As far as cheaper options, Luis Castillo has not been good, and I'm a little concerned about a lot of these numbers, but he does have a 21% hard contact rate, a 50% ground ball rate. The K rate is down, and the xFIP and Sierra are up. Not as high as his ERA, which has been ridiculous. So I'm a little nervous in Milwaukee, but it is Milwaukee. He just had a decent game against them, but obviously that means he's seen them recently. Milwaukee still has a 25.8% K rate against righties with an 83 WRC plus, so I think he's on the table, at least in the discussion. And then Patrick Corbin, similar story, right? Some serious regression, just been awful. K rate has been down. XFIP and Sierra are up, but he's cheap. And this is about the matchup. He's playing the Pirates, who have the second lowest WRC plus against lefties at 77, with a 135 ISO, 281 WOBA, 23.7% K rate. They're not a huge strikeout team, but the numbers are pretty bad for themselves. I think Corbin's at least in the conversation as far as cheap guys go. Now, there are other pitchers we can discuss, and some of them we'll discuss at the What to Watch segment. Some of them we won't. But we're going to move on to top offenses. So the Padres are going to be the clear chalk. They're playing Chi-Chi, who is just awful in every way. Now, we know the Padres offense has been good. We did talk about how they struggled against lefties. Their numbers against righties aren't that much better. 22% K rate's nice, but a 146 ISO, 307 WOBA. But I expect those numbers to improve. So the Padres are the optimal team. You should be getting as many of them as you can in cash against Chi-Chi and a terrible Colorado bullpen in Coors. But they will be very popular. The Indians stand out. Matt Harvey's been terrible. He's been awful. We know that. The Mets beat him up twice. The Indians are not a very good offense, right? We gotta call it what it is. 89 WRC plus, 162 ISO, 301 WOBA, 22.9% K rate against righties. But Matt Harvey's pretty bad. Matt Harvey particularly struggles against lefties. We got J Ram looking pretty good, right? Dong Watch, spoiler alert. So I threw him in there. Houston against Kyle Gibson. So Gibson's got a 2.13 ERA, but he's got a 3.99 XFIP, a 4.21 Sierra, only a 20.5% K rate, a 234 batting average balls in play. Houston, we know, is currently tied with the Dodgers for the highest WRC plus against righties. They have a 337 WOBA, just under the Dodgers. They have a 170 ISO and a 19% K rate. So from what I see, Gibson is due for some aggression. And I think Houston's the right team to kind of do that, right? They're going to put a lot of balls in play and really test that batting average balls in play average out. So I think Houston is definitely one to keep an eye on. And then we gotta talk about the White Sox. They're playing a lefty. So this is one of the more polarizing spots for me on the slate as far as decision making goes. Shane McClanahan, his numbers look phenomenal outside of his ERA, right? 3.08 XFIP, 3.49 Sierra, 29.6% K rate. He's got a 341 batting average balls in play. Clearly, he's been unlucky. His ERA is 4.54, so that kind of makes sense. But he is playing in Chicago, the White Sox Park, which is hitter friendly, and we know the White Sox have retaken their lead in WRC plus, or at least they're tied with Houston at 126 against lefties with a 352 WOBA and a 189 ISO. So I put the White Sox because they're at home in a good park against a lefty who I think has been better than he's looked, but nonetheless, on paper, result basis has not looked great. Right. Things to watch. Erod's another one, man. You take a look at these numbers. 370 batting average balls in play, which has contributed to him having an ERA almost double his XFIP and Sierra. 25.8% K rate. He's playing Atlanta, so the positive, this game is in Atlanta. So, one, the park's a little bit better for pitching. Number two, you do lose the DH, so one less real hitter he has to face. The negative is Atlanta has a 200 ISO against lefties, and Erod's been struggling. But they do have a 25.4% K rate. I think Erod could be one of the sneakier pitchers out there on the cheap, but obviously it's high risk. Hyunjin Ryu is playing the Yankees on a numbers basis. The strikeouts are down a little bit, but the XFIP and Sierra look good. The Yankees have really been struggling this season. As you can see, they have a 158 ISO, but only a 98 WRC plus against lefties. But this game is in Buffalo, so we want to keep track of which way the wind is blowing. Something to keep an eye on. And then, so Mike Minor, man, I mean, when you look at him, and he's up there, and he's like above Ryu, but below Darvish, Urias, and Rogers, you're just like, what the fuck? But he is playing Detroit, who is dead last currently in WRC plus against lefties at 75 with a 123 ISO, a 279 WOBA, and a 29.9 strikeout rate. And you consider that his because of his expensive price, I'd be surprised if his ownership got too high. So something to keep an eye on there. Getting into the Dong Watch, I mentioned I'm going with J-Ram, and I did throw that out there. I'm going J-Ram. Let's go Alex Bregman. So we got 2 third basemen. So I need an outfielder now. J-Ram, Alex Bregman, and they're both third basemen. How about that? We need an outfielder. How about Tommy Pham? Let's dust some shit up. Come on, Tommy Pham. I would say Trent Grisham, but I think he's out. Let's go Tommy Pham. We'll go Coors. Fuck it. I mean, it's a hard spot to ignore. I barely played Coors at all on the Monday slate, right? I just wasn't a fan of the spot. We talked about it on the show. I thought Comber was an interesting tournament play, yada, yada, yada. Or maybe I mentioned that in the article. I don't remember. But, I mean, it's hard. It's hard to think the Padres won't get to Chi-Chi. Real hard. Long and hard. But anyway, Nation, that's going to do it for this edition. The Tuesday edition of the MLB Wide Stream. Appreciate those of you hanging out with us live. Again, I'm sorry I didn't get to see the chat. Shout out to the usual suspects who are always there supporting us. And please leave some comments. For those of you watching after the fact, don't forget the like button on your way out. Come check us out at WiseTake.com, man. Come check us out. Come rock with it. Shout out to Paulie once again. I mentioned it yesterday, but Paulie D did take down an MMA donkey, won himself a cool $10K to get like $90 in entries for that slate. Obviously, more of a recreational sport for Paulie, but not no more. Not when you take down $10K, man. So shout out to Paulie ADs doing dirties. That's why we call him Dirty Paulie, aka Dirty P, because all he does is do dirties. So I appreciate you guys hanging out. Leave some comments. Talk to me. Love to hear from y'all. For myself, the entire WiseTake Nation, as always, good luck.